Hello children, welcome back. We are in the third session of chapter 2, that is physical quantities and measurement, right? So we were discussing about the measurement of length in the previous sessions, right? Measurement of length. The upcoming measurements would be of mass, time, temperature and area, isn't it? Right. So we have already discussed about the measurement of length, and we have defined length as the separation between any 2 points in space, right? The distance or separation between any 2 points in space is known as the length. We have also discussed about different devices, instruments which are used for measuring length, right? Isn't it? Right. And we have also discussed about the precautions which you have to take while measuring the length using a ruler, right? What were the precautions? Yes, very good. The first precaution was whether the scale is placed accurately. Exactly, right. The scale must be placed exactly along the length of that particular object, isn't it? Right. So the placement of the cell, that is the first precaution. The second precaution was, yes? Okay, the second precaution was that if the zero mark of the scale is damaged, how you will measure the length of an object using such rulers? Zero mark may be damaged, right? So there is a method for it. Okay, then the third precaution was the eye position, right? The eye position must be exactly on at the level of that particular object. It must not be above or it must not be below, isn't it? Right. So that is the third precaution. And the fourth precaution was whether the markings on the scale are uniform or not. If they are not uniform, that produces difficulty. The reading, the result, what you get may be inaccurate, isn't it? Right. And we are now going to discuss about the units of length measurement. Okay, so the units, what actually is the unit? So unit is a particular factor used for physical quantities. As discussed, physical quantity is expressed in the form a numerical value together with a unit or followed by a unit, right? A numerical value must be there, numerical value followed by a unit. So that unit gives you the measurement of that particular physical quantity, is it? Right. So units of length measurement. So the standard unit of length measurement is meter. Meter is the standard unit of length measurement, right? So unit is the length is always measured in a standard unit, meter. Now if smaller units are supposed to be mentioned, the measurement of length of smaller objects, meter is larger, right? Meter is a bit larger. So smaller objects, like suppose the length of this chalk, the length of the chalk is not at all nearer to the meter. So the meter will be a large unit. So therefore, smaller units must be mentioned. So units are smaller units are centimeter, right? Centimeter. Okay, centimeter is a smaller unit of length. Okay, then if you want still more smaller lengths. Okay, right. So still more smaller lengths are measured in millimeters. So millimeter is a very small measurement of the length. Meter we have a larger unit, smaller units centimeter and millimeters, still more smaller millimeters. Okay, so now suppose we want to make larger measurements. We have to make larger measurements. So how will you make larger measurements? So larger measurements, suppose for example, let us consider the measurement of the length of or distance between two cities. Distance between two cities. So meter will be a very small unit in such cases. Meter will be very small in such cases. So therefore, larger units are also used. So larger units are we have kilometers, right? We have kilometers. So kilometers gives a unit of length in the larger quantity. Distance between two cities can be measured in terms of kilometers. So now, how would we convert these units? You must be able to convert the units. So we can have the conversion as in 1 meter. You have a 1 meter length, this much, approximately this much would be the 1 meter length. Now in 1 meter, how many centimeters are there? So in 1 meter, always remember, you must keep this in mind, never forget it. In 1 meter, there are always 100 centimeters. Centimeter is written in short form as cm, okay? Centimeter short form cm. So here I have used cm, which indicates centimeter, and millimeter is mm. Mm, if you write, that indicates millimeter. Is it clear? Right. So meter, 1 meter, in 1 meter there are always 100 centimeters. This will never change. It is a fixed value, so you must keep this in mind. Okay, 1 meter there are 100 centimeters, and in 1 centimeter we have number of millimeters, right? And in your scale you can measure or count the number of millimeters in 1 centimeter. That gives you a value of 10. Okay, so in 1 centimeter distance there are always 10 millimeters, right? So now in 1 meter, how many millimeters are there now? I want the number of millimeters, right? In 1 meter, I want the number of millimeters in 1 meter. So how to calculate it now? So you must always remember, in 1 meter, as we have 100 centimeters, right? In 1 meter, we have 100 centimeters. Now, in 1 centimeter, we have 10 millimeters, right? So in 1 centimeter we have 10 millimeters. So 100 into 10, now it is converted into millimeters. Is it clear? 100 centimeters in 1 meter. Now 1 centimeter has 10 millimeters. So the centimeter now has been converted into 10 millimeters. So therefore 100 into 10 is 1000, right? 1000 millimeters. So in 1 meter there are always 1000 millimeters, right? So you must always remember these values. It is nothing that you have to by heart them, you just understand the situation. Is it clear? 1 meter, 100 centimeter, 1 centimeter, 10 millimeters, 1 meter. So just multiply these two, that gives you 1000 millimeters. Is it clear? Right. And the larger unit, that is kilometer, what we have already written. So in 1 kilometer, always will be having 1000 meters, 1000 meters. Is it clear? So 1000 meters together gives you the length of 1 kilometer. Clear? Right. Very good. Yes. So let us now discuss about the measurement of mass. So we have already completed length. Now we will be discussing about the measurement of mass. Right. So you must all be familiar with an experience that, suppose you have a glass of water, you always drink water with a glass, isn't it? Right. Will you pick up the whole drum to drink water? Is it possible? No, right? So you feel the glass much better, you can easily lift the glass and drink water. But the drum, it's not possible. So the glass has water in lesser quantity, less quantity of water is in the glass. In the drum, large quantity of water will be there. Now what is this water now? Water is nothing but matter, isn't it? Water is nothing but matter only. So what actually gives you the mass then? Something is lighter, something is heavier. So this heavy and lightness is nothing but related to the matter, isn't it? Matter. Example is glass of water, drum of water. So in the drum of water, large quantity of water is placed. In the glass, a small quantity of water which you can easily pick it up. Right. So therefore, mass is directly related to the matter, isn't it? Right. So liquid, water is nothing but matter, and matter gives you direct relation to the mass. So therefore, we can define mass as, so mass is defined as, the quantity, as the quantity of, mass is defined as the quantity of matter contained in the body. Matter contained in the body. Is it right? Okay. So how much amount of matter is in that, that much the mass is. Okay. If you just go on adding matter to a given substance, then the mass goes on increasing. So therefore, we define mass as the quantity of matter contained in the body. Right. So you can have a sumo wrestler and an elephant. So sumo wrestler is obviously larger. He is a person with a large body, but still the elephant has much more larger body. So therefore, elephant's mass is much more compared to the sumo wrestler. So that is what we are saying. The amount of matter contained in the body is nothing but the mass of that particular body. Is it clear? Right. And this mass of a body is always determined by different devices. Mass of the body is always determined by different devices. And the general name for it is the beam balance. The beam balance. General name is beam balance. So a beam balance is nothing but a device or apparatus which is used to measure the mass of a body. Okay. In different fields, they make use of different beam balances. For example, if you go to buy a gold is obviously a costly element, right? A costly material. You cannot just give gold like this. You have some gold, you just take gold and give it to someone. Is it possible? No. So you must have a very good measurement of the mass of that particular gold. Without that, you cannot give any gold to anyone, right? So therefore, in such cases, a different beam balance is used. In laboratories, there are different balances, okay, different apparatus for measurement of the mass of the body, okay. And if you go to a grocer's shop, suppose you want 5 kg of rice, so he will be having a beam balance, but in a different form. So all those balances are of different natures, and accuracy also goes on varying. Right. So this is how we make use of different instruments for measurement of mass. And we have the unit for mass. The mass is measured in the unit. A standard unit is kg, that is kilograms. Okay. So kilogram is nothing but the standard unit of mass. Kilogram normally written as kg. You don't need to write the full form and waste the time. If you write kg, that indicates it is the kilogram. Okay. So we have smaller units also. We have larger units also. Smaller units as well as larger units. As we had for length, we have for mass also. So smaller units of mass, smaller units of mass are. Smaller units of mass are. So where you need smaller units. So suppose you are buying gold. So you never buy gold in terms of kgs. Do you? Is it possible? Never, right? You just go to the goldsmith and you ask for 10 gram, 20 gram, right? A smaller quantity is taken. You don't go to him and say, I want 10 kg of gold. Is it possible? Right? It's not possible. So some terms are related to smaller units of mass. So therefore, the smaller units of mass are grams. Gram, normally written as G. Okay. So gram is a smaller unit of mass. Smaller unit of mass. Kilogram is a standard unit. Okay, right. And larger units, we have also still more smaller unit, we have milligrams. Milligram. Okay, milligram. So milligram is still more smaller unit for mass. Larger units, larger units. So these larger units are used when you buy, say, coal. So coal is bought in larger units of mass, measurement of mass. So in such cases, the larger units used are known to be quintal, quintal, and we have one more larger unit as ton. Ton. Okay, so larger units of mass are quintal and tons. So these units can be converted from one form to another. These units can be converted from one form to another. Okay, so let us now convert kilogram to gram. Kilogram to gram. So in 1 kg of mass will be having 1000 grams. So remember, this is the standard value again. 1 kg of mass consists of 1000 grams. Okay, and 1 gram consists of 1000 milligrams. 1 gram consists of 1000 milligrams. Okay, so this is what is the conversion from standard unit of mass to smaller units. Okay, now the larger units, we have 1 quintal, right? So as we have discussed, we have 1 quintal. So 1 quintal now must be converted to kgs. So 1 quintal is nothing but known to be 100 kgs. So 100 kg together makes 1 quintal. So this is what is nothing but the mass measured for coal. When you buy coal in large quantities, so quintal is used, that is approximately about 100 kg, right? So 1 quintal is 100 kg and we have 1 ton which is equal to 10 times a quintal. So 10 quintal, or you can convert it into kgs. So how much is the value in kg? 1 ton in terms of kg. So 1 ton is nothing but 10 quintal and 1 quintal is 100 kg, right? So therefore 10 into 100, isn't it? Right. So 1 ton is nothing but 1000 kgs. So 1 ton is 1000 kg. So you must always remember these values. Right, 1 kg 1000 grams, 1 gram 1000 milligrams, 1 quintal 100 kgs, and 1 ton is 10 quintal. Right, so these are nothing but the conversion of units from one form to another form. Okay, so let us discuss about the different types of balance. So as I had suggested to you that a beam balance is a device which is used for measurement of mass, right? A beam balance is a device used for measurement of mass. So different fields, different balances are used. In different fields, different balances are used, right? Like in a laboratory, in a laboratory, the balance which is used is known to be the physical balance. Physical balance. Okay. So a physical balance is a balance which is used in laboratories for measurement of mass. Okay. Right. In grocer's shop, grocers, that is if you are willing to buy rice, right? So in such cases what they use is, there is no name for that balance, it's a grocer balance is suggested. Grocer balance, no name for such balances. Grocer balance indicates that you want some eating materials, right, like rice, wheat and so on. So grocer balance is nothing but the balance used by grocers. Then a beam balance, a beam balance, a beam balance is used to measure costly items like gold, silver. This beam balance will be having at least accurate measurements, not highly accurate, but at least you can reach near about the accurate value, and hence beam balance is used for measurement of mass for gold and silver. So if you go to buy gold, right, you will be using beam balance to measure the mass of the gold. And we have finally the electronic beam balance. Electronic balance. So as technology has advanced, right, before we did not have this electronic balance. This electronic balance is output of the technology. As technology improvised, electronic balance has been constructed. So electronic balance is mainly used for highly accurate results. Highly accurate results are nothing but maintained by electronic balance, right? So accurate measurements. Accurate measurement of the mass is made using electronic balance. Compared to all these balances, electronic balance is a balance which gives you a highly accurate value of the mass of the body. If you have a mass, you want to measure the accurate value, you should be using an electronic balance. Is this clear? So these are the different types of measuring devices for mass, right? Okay, so let us now discuss about the beam balance, wherein the beam balance is used for measuring the mass of gold, silver, costly items, right? So actually, as discussed, mass is nothing but the quantity of matter contained in the body, right? Quantity of matter contained in the body. So now, suppose, for example, I want to measure the mass of this chalk. What do I do? How will I get to know the mass of this chalk? I cannot just put it on the balance and get to know what is the mass. So for that, I need to have a standard mass. Okay. So the mass of this chalk will be calculated using another standard mass. For example, suppose you want 5 kg of rice. Okay, 5 kg of rice. So you are going to the grocer's shop. You ask 5 kg of rice. What he does actually, he has the balance. He has the balance on the left pan. the balance will be having two pans, okay, two pans like this, and there is a balance, right? So in the left pan, always remember the mass of the unknown body. The unknown body is always kept on the left side of the pan, okay, left side of the balance. So this is my measuring body. This body I have to measure the mass. So I am keeping it on the left side of the pan, okay. And suppose this is a standard mass, standard mass. So that will be placed on the right pan of that balance. So this is how you make the measurement of that unknown body. Is it clear? Right. So what we do is we put this object on the left pan, and on the right pan we go on adjusting the standard weights. So standard weights will be there. I'll just keep this. So what happens? There will still be an imbalance. Both the pans should be at a same level. Okay, they must be on the same level. So still this mass is lesser than this mass. So therefore it will be above. This will be heavier, okay. Then I put the exact mass, so both will be at the same level. So now I can say that if this value suppose is, say for example, don't consider this mass, but let us say I have kept 1 kg of standard weight. So then I say that this chalk will be having 1 kg, okay. That this is how you actually measure the mass of a body. So you will always be having a standard weight, standard weights. With that you will measure the unknown mass of the body, okay, right. So on the pan always remember left side the unknown body, and right side the known standard values are you are going to keep on adding until the balance is observed. The physical balance just levels itself, right. So then you get to know that the mass of the body is this much. Is it clear? Right. So this is how a beam balance also is used, okay. So therefore in the beam balance also the gold is placed on one of the pan, left side pan the gold is placed, and on the right side of the pan you go on adding the weights so that you get to know how much of mass is present. Suppose you want say 10 gram of gold, then what you do is actually on the right pan you place the weight of 10 gram. 10 gram is placed, and on the left side you go on adding gold. You are just keeping on adding the gold till the balance is observed, right. When the balance is observed, this gold will be having 10 grams. Is it clear? So this is how you actually measure the masses of the unknown bodies, right. So therefore in beam balance still more accurate measurements is possible by a sensitive beam balance. So the higher version is a sensitive beam balance. So this beam balance actually according to the technology you will have improvisation, right. So we had a beam balance but accuracy was a lit error. So to rectify, to solve those problems, a sensitive beam balance is constructed. Is it clear? Right. So in the beam balance, in the older days, what we used to do, we used to measure gold with the beam balance, right. So in that measurement, what actually the problem arose is that accuracy was not up to the mark, okay. So there was a lot of errors in those measurements. Is it clear? Right. So therefore as technology went on improving, so new ideas came into existence, right, and that is where this sensitive beam balance came into existence. So sensitive beam balance, what actually it does is it gives you, that means it rectifies means it solves problems, right? So it solves the problems of many errors which are introduced while taking measurements of mass, right? So therefore, in while measuring masses, actually the effect of wind will be there. Wind will be blowing. So when wind blows, what happens? There may be some error in the measurement of mass. So in sensitive beam balance, what is done is those errors are actually reduced. So when the errors are reduced, what you get? Accurate measurements is obtained. Is it clear? So this is how actually you can measure the mass of gold. In the normal nowadays, we are actually making use of sensitive beam balance for measurement of costly items such as gold, silver, and so on. Is it clear? Right. Okay, children, let us end the session by a small homework, right? So you have to write the units of length. So different units as have been mentioned: standard unit, smaller units, and larger units. So units of length and their conversions. Standard unit to smaller units and standard units to larger units. So their conversions must be written, and write the units of mass and also their conversions. So why I am giving you this homework is you must be familiar with the units and conversions. So as soon as the school reopens, I will be asking each and everyone about these conversions. Okay, thank you.